Warning, this episode contains adult language, mature situations, evil criminal organizations, teen detectives that have been transformed into little boys, incompetent private investigators who are known to sleep a lot, oblivious love interests with very easy manipulation skills, and the fourth best-selling manga of all time. Listener discretion is advised. Episode 252, Elementary, My Dear Jimmy. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Spiraken Manga Review, some podcasts and varying reviews about connecting enhanced narratives. I'm your host, Zan, saying konnichiwa, aloha, buongiorno, what's up? Yes, we are back for another fun-filled episode of the Spiraken Manga Review. And if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. Spiraken is a podcast that provides informative reviews about connecting enhanced narratives. Every episode, I'll talk about 1 to 2 titles and tell you the pros and cons about them, how the art style is, the characters are, and if it's worth investing your time in. You don't have to agree with anything that I or my co-hosts say, but we try to be informative, impartial, and entertaining. And even though we're not always impartial, we do the best we can. You can check out any of our earlier episodes, like I said, at www.spiraken.com. You can email me personally at zanspiraken.com. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, iTunes, Apple Music, Stitcher, Player.fm, and several other social media and music sites. Now, if you want to do something really awesome for the podcast, you can subscribe to us on iTunes/Apple Music. You can subscribe to us on Twitter and follow us on Instagram. And you can leave us some cool comments. It'd be really greatly appreciated, and it kind of gives me a little bit of, we'll say it's just kind of gives me a little bit of more help to move me forward. Some motivation to move forward. Now, I'm sorry it's been a little bit of time since the last episode. It was been about... See now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 days since, well, not 15 days. It's been, hold on, 10, 8, 9, 10, 11, about 12 days since my last podcast. And, well, you can listen to the episodes. You know what's been going on. There was the episode I released, or I may not have released. I don't know if I did or not. I recorded it, but, you know. Anyway, we're here to talk about happy, wonderful things, so let's get on with it. Because if you remember... From the last episode of the Spiraken Manga Review, episode 251, I spun that one, that only, the Wheel of Manga, and it dictated on to me that I'm reviewing a manga that was written by Gosho Aoyama and published by Shogakukan over here by Viz Media, and also Shogakukan Asia. It's a Shonen series that's released in Weekly Shonen Sunday. Now, the crazy thing about that little side note is that Weekly Shonen Sunday is actually released on Wednesdays, not Sundays. Figure that shit out. Kind of weird. And I digress, though. So, it was released originally in 1994, and it's still coming out to this day. There's 94 volumes, and the series is actually considered the 4th best-selling manga series of all time. How crazy is that? So, what is this manga that I'm talking about that is considered a detective fiction, mystery, thriller, shonen series? I am talking about Meitantei Konan, or Detective Conan, or as we know it over here, Case closed. Now, this is actually one of the most popular series out there of all time. It has had a movie every single year. There's a TV show. It's been on Toonami, and it's a really intriguing concept. I don't know how it's been around since '94 and still going out, especially because there should have been an ending to it, but I digress. And Detective Conan is the story of Jimmy Kudo. Now, Jimmy Kudo is a young teen detective who helps out the police, and he's able to solve crimes brilliantly. And he is a genius at this. He sees all the small pieces, he figures it out, and he puts everything together like that. And he's a huge fan of Arthur Doyle. Conan Arthur Doyle, the creator of Sherlock Holmes. He loves mysteries. He loves solving them, putting them together. The only thing he likes more than that is he likes his friend, Rachel Moore, or, if you want to be legitimate, Jimmy Kudo, a.k.a. Shinichi Kudo, and then Ron Mori. He loves this girl. That's his best friend. He's been in love with her for years, but he has not been smart enough to say that he actually loves her. He's kind of an idiot. Also, same thing with Rachel, a.k.a. Ron. She just has not told him that she actually likes him. She constantly is fighting with him over it, and she's a martial artist, and she just kind of, he gets spaced out, and he disappears whenever they're going to have a quote-unquote date. So they're almost girlfriend boyfriend, but they're not really, and it's a whole thing with them. Because he actually loves her, but he can't say it because he's too stupid. Because of he's smart, but he's not smart. You know what I mean? Anyway, so one day after solving a very cool crime, he ends up bumping into someone, seeing a crime happen, and he sees the individuals running away. And he ends up following these individuals, and it turns out these two guys that he's following knock him out, and it turns out they are members of the evil black organization, an evil shadow organization which causes lots of crimes and criminal, mischievous doings. And they decide they're going to get rid of Shinichi. They're going to poison him with this new experimental drug. And when they give him the drug, he will die and he'll be out of their hair. So they give him the drug, and he's like, oh God, he wakes up. And it's a police officer over him saying, hey, are you okay, little boy? You okay? Now, Shinichi is 16 years old. And all these detectives are treating him like his little boy, saying, we need an APB. We got a 5-year-old boy here. He's dressed weird. He's wearing clothes that are too big. We don't know what's going on. And he kind of freaks out. Turns out that he has been transformed by this pill. Instead of poisoning him, it has transformed him into a 5-year-old version of himself. He's shrunk. However, his mind is still the same, and he doesn't know what to do because they don't believe him. He says, I'm 16 years old. Sure, kid, sure. What's your parents' name? We'll find them. And he doesn't know what to do, so he ends up tricking them, running off, and he goes to his neighbor's house. Now, his neighbor is Dr. Agasa, this crazy mad scientist who at first doesn't believe that this little boy is Shinichi until Shinichi, with all of his mannerisms, convinces him that he's Shinichi. He's like saying, I see you ate at the chili place today because of this, and you did this today. And he's like, elementary, my dear Dr. Agasa. He's like, oh my God, what happened to you, Jimmy? And he doesn't know what to do. And he explains what happened. He says, I don't know how I got like this. I just know they tried to poison me. He's like, that must be the evil black organization. If they think you're dead, they won't bother you. But if they find out you're alive, they're going to try and kill you and try and kill me. So I don't know what to do. So they figure out they're going to pretend that he's a little boy until they can find the black organization, stop them, then they can figure a way to turn him back to normal. Now, while all this is going on, Ron has not heard from Shinichi in a couple of days, so she ends up going to the house looking for him, sees that the house is normal, goes next door to Dr. Agawa's house, and sees this little boy there wearing a pair of glasses and dressed in clothes like, oh, who are you, little boy? And immediately he says, oh, this is my... Dr. Agawa says, this is my nephew. And Shinichi's like, oh, I'm Conan, Itagawa Conan. And Dr. Agasa, being the dick that he is, ends up telling him, oh yes, this is my nephew, and I can't take care of him, so could you watch him for me while I try to figure out what it is? His parents will be back in a couple of months, maybe. And now it's been it's been more than 20 years, and never coming back. So now, Jimmy is been, quote-unquote, he's living with Ron and her father. Now, her father, oh boy, her father, Richard Moore, or Kogoro Mori, is a PI who sucks. He's terrible at his job. He's garbage at his job. He doesn't know what to do. He's terrible. He sleeps. He's lazy. But he wants to show up Shinichi. He thinks Shinichi is, that kid thinks he's hot shit. Well, he hasn't gone through the shit I've gone through. I'm a better detective than him, and I'm going to prove it. So with Shinichi being missing, the police go to Kogoro to solve a mystery. And because no one's watching him, Conan ends up following him, and he starts acting like Jimmy would, like Shinichi would. He starts saying, well, this will happen, this will happen. He's like, whoa. And they look at him like, what are you talking about? You're just a stupid kid. You can't tell any of these things. You don't know what you're talking about. Just shut up and sit there and be quiet. So Shinichi ends up solving the case, but unfortunately, because he's a kid, no one believes him, and he has to use various items to trick his way into it, because Dr. Agasa essentially becomes his, we'll say, his cue. He comes up with a bunch of inventions to help him out. Like, one thing he invents is this bow tie, which will change his voice so he can sound like other people. He has glasses, which have tracking devices. He has a wristwatch, which will shoot a sleeping dart. He has shoes, which actually will release a soccer ball, which he can kick at super strength and just knock things out. It's actually really cool. And he uses these items to solve mysteries and find a way to fix his dilemma that he's in. Meanwhile, dealing with lots of hardship and being a kid again, well, being an adult and pretending to be a kid. And seeing his girlfriend basically not realize it's him. Now, this series is known for its amazing stories, its great attitude, and just these great story arcs it goes on. It is a truly, not a Renaissance series, but it is a really well-developed series. And it's won several awards, including the 46th Shogakukan Manga Award. It's really well-suited for adults than kids, which is really weird, but it is a seinen series. It's a shonen series, but it should be considered a seinen series, which is really crazy. And it does such a good job of explaining these stories in a unique way. They unfold them with all of the exposition, and it gives you the things you need to solve it, as well as watching Conan solve it. And you can figure out how it goes with him. And you want him to grow up. You want him to become an adult again. And that's kind of the problem with the series, because it does appeal to all ages, and it is a lot of fun. But as I said, it's been 24 years, and there's been like single episodes where he becomes an adult again, but then he goes back to being a kid again. And I really do not see this series ever ending. It's like Oshinbo, an amazing story that had a set goal to finish, and it never finished because they made an insane goal, and they said, yep, this is the goal, and it's been 10 years, and we're not done yet, even though it's supposed to be a week. Or like Drops of God, that series literally did not have a way to end. And the crazy thing is that Aoyama said that he actually has an ending that he has written. He wrote the final chapters, but he's not going to release it anytime soon. And that was 10 years ago he said that. So there's no fucking end in sight for this series. However, now, the plot is very fun. It's very original and it's unique. It goes through a lot of twists and turns. You have characters showing up that you wouldn't expect, like Kaito Kid incorporated into the series. You have this one character, Ai, who shows up, who's a transfer student in his class, who ends up becoming an assistant to him because she's the creator of the drug which made him a child. And she worked for the black organization, but she defected, took the poison to kill herself, and made her a kid again. So she's going to work with him to foil the plots of the black organization while working on an antidote for them. So there is plots and seeds of the ending, but we're going to see where it goes. Hopefully it does have an ending soon. But it is a great ride so far. There's a lot of great stories, and the art style is pretty good. Every character has their own unique look to them, except for Shinichi. He looks exactly the same as Conan and as Shinichi, and how no one notices this, I don't fucking know. But every character has unique looks that works for them. Also, I have to admit that I think that Kogoro is probably the most bumbling, lazy detective out of any series I've ever read. And I'm even including Inspector Onizuka from Shadow Lady, because he was just an idiot. But this guy is lazy and pathetic, and the whole reason why he has a career after Volume 5 is because everyone thinks that he's the sleeping detective. He's a detective that looks like he's sleeping, but he's actually solving the mystery, even though it's really Conan who shot him with a dart to knock him out, and then exposed the mystery in using the voice changer. So, with that in mind, I have to give this manga, Detective Conan, out of our 5-point rating system, I have to give it a borrow from a friend and don't return unless offered Pocky. It is really good. But that ending issue is causing a lot of problems because there is no end in sight, and he should have aged. I mean, this isn't like, for example, Hajime no Ippo, where you actually see Ippo ages and everyone ages with him, or Beck, where you see them age. He's been 5 years old for 20-something years. Anyway, so borrow from a friend. If you think differently or disagree with me, email me, zanspiraken.com. So, with that in mind, I think we should get to that part you have all been waiting for. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about that one, that only, the Yes, friends, the Wheel of Manga, except no substitute. What is the Wheel of Manga? The Wheel of Manga is a Wheel of Fortune with 10 slots on it, and what we're going to do is we're going to spin that one, that only, the Wheel of Manga, and whatever number it lands on, that's reviewing the next episode of the Spiraken Manga Review, episode 253. So, let's see what we're going to review. Number 3. Oh, cool. So, in the next episode of the Spiraken Manga Review, we're going to be reviewing a manga which has a very unique name on it. And what is that? 1 Week Friends. Sounds kind of like 51st Dates. We're going to have to wait and see. 1 Week Friends? Maybe? I don't know. We're going to find out. But anyway, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for understanding with the situation that we talked about in the mid-review between the 17th and today. And, I hope you guys are doing great. I hope you guys have a great weekend. And this show's on saying I'm Dogsville. I'll catch you guys next time.